What's up? I'm St. John. You're watching Hard Knock TV. I'm with my homie Nick. And Nick, there's two Nicks. Wait, I'm not gonna say it's weird, but.
I like to start interviews setting the tone. So if there was a movie made about your life, that opening sequence, it's coming through the front door of your home. What are we hearing? What are we seeing? What are we smelling?
The movie's being shot. It's my biopic.
Yeah, it's your biopic.
So I get to be creative.
You get to be as creative as you want.
I mean, obviously you walk in, right? And the doors open up and it's marble everywhere. But you can see the rear of the house because it's all glass. Right, so you can see, you walk in the front, you can see the back. You can see it going into the valley, and you can see the pool to the right. Right. Of course, I ain't gonna tell you what you smell because I don't want people smelling. You can't, watching y'all niggas. There'll be. Oh, this is great. So of course you walk in, and then there's like women walking from opposite sides. There's a girl going on. She's gonna get a glass of milk. There's a girl picking up a champagne bottle. Everyone bikini clad. I come downstairs, silk. I'm like, hey, what's up? How y'all do? Y'all good? Y'all need some champagne? Y'all thirsty? Everybody cool? I'll see y'all in a second. I go change to another silk. Same silk, different color.
Now, if the movie goes from there to flashback to your childhood home, what are we seeing there?
You see like a Honda Accord from, I don't know what year Pops had that Honda Accord. You probably see like it must have been like, it was old. This guy in third world country, right? So, and maybe it was an 80s Accord or something like that. Never was up to date. Couldn't have been. We were too poor. You see like a red Honda Accord. You be walking in the yard. There's a red Honda Accord outside. In my mind, it's a coupe because I like that. Right? So it's red. It has the black trimming, but it's not rubber. It's plastic. You walk in the front gate. There's two gates. There's a gate here, a gate here. There's concrete separating the two gates because it's a third world country. So, fenced in with protection. You open the gate. And then there's a 2-story home with the top floor protruding beyond the first floor. So the first floor you can walk into almost as if a balcony is perched over, right? And it's just a 2-bedroom, small crib. Wood floor, things a little dusty, not running water. Maybe I'd be on one of the couch with one of the 6 holes and I'm watching Saturday afternoon night cartoons, probably, right?
What are we hearing?
You probably hear, my pops frying. He would definitely be making corned beef and cabbage, for sure, 100%.
You got a bunch of siblings? It's just
you? Yeah. But that particular day, this is my movie, let me tell you. That particular day, I'm by myself. Just my pops in the back and I'm watching. Maybe I'm wrestling. I'd probably be watching wrestling, right? I have no idea what I'm wearing. But poor, it don't look cool. I probably had it for, 7 years. It might fit a little small. I like this. I'm not even on drugs presently. Nah, that's cool. Yeah, that's what it would be like. It would smell like corned beef and cabbage, and it would smell like the water isn't running and you'd have to fetch it. And it would smell real.
Now, for people who don't know, this country is Guyana,
Guyana,
right?
Yeah, Guyana, South America.
I'm South American too.
Oh, from where?
Argentina.
All right,
yeah.
We're neighbors.
Yeah, definitely.
Close enough. Yeah.
Tell me how growing up between Brooklyn and Guyana shaped you.
Well,
because you went back and forth a few times, right?
I went back and forth in intervals. So different degrees of poverty, right? Guyanese poverty is third world poverty. American poverty is still first world poverty. You still have opportunities. You still get some benefits. You can have health care. How did it mold me? It taught me I could do worse. Even if I was doing bad, I could do worse. And if you notice worse, then you feel like your position is a little bit better. You go, oh, I could backslide. There's another level. And you feel like that gives you hope and a little bit more opportunity to go forward. At least you're not at the ground floor. For whatever reason, that helps people. That helps your humanity, your mindset.
Yep.
At least I'm not it. As I'm saying this, I'm sort of remembering what it was like growing up. Going, damn, I really have to think my way out of my situation. I had to become the best version of myself. It molded that, it made that, it forced that.
Musically, how is that shaping you, the different sounds you're hearing going back and forth? Do you remember what your first musical memory was?
Nah. I could tell you a good lie, but we're good friends now. Nah.
What was something that comes to mind? It doesn't have to be the first
Something,
one. Like
one of the
early
first, one of the earliest memories, I don't know what my first musical memory was,
Yeah.
because I didn't grow up in a musical household.
Okay.
My mom wasn't playing music. I didn't know that. You know, some people from like early onset, they'll say their parents playing Sam Cooke or whatever. Growing up in Guyana, I got to hear Beres Hammond and Buju. I got that. That's where I got the musical influence from, but it came from everywhere but my household. I don't come from a musical family. I forgot the question, but I like where I was going with this. What'd you say?
The question was early music memories. Like, what were some?
Oh,
of
my
those
first one. So I remember coming home, and this is when I started rapping. I remember coming home and I saw my brother on the corner and he was in a cypher and he was rapping. I remember that distinctly. I think there were maybe 5 people and he was one of 5. And I saw from the corner of my eye through my peripheral when I was growing up in Bushwick, I was like, oh, that's lit. I'm gonna do that. But I was just walking in a house from school and I liked it. I liked the energy. It was him in the middle of 4 other people and they were captivated. You knew what was happening, even if you didn't know what was happening. You felt it. I was far enough away, but close enough to still be connected. And I went, that's incredible. I want to do that.
How did you see that and then say, okay, I'm going to become an artist?
I didn't know that I could become an artist. I just started stealing my brother's raps. It's the easiest thing to do, right? Like your older brother, he got the cool wardrobe. Even if you wear size 11 and he wear 13, cool, you're 13 that day. You just borrowed. So that's what I did. I borrowed from him. I took his, whatever he was doing, I would go to school and I'd rap it, and he was older than me, so I was a genius, right? You're a genius. 10 years old, 11 years old, you rapping some shit. You're the one. Of course not. Yeah, thank you. I'm working on my mixtape. That was the mentality.
What was the moment where you're like, I want to do this for a career?
That moment, the
That
first
moment.
time.
Wow.
The
You
very
knew at that
first
moment.
time. I knew that. I didn't know what that meant. You can't know what that meant. So even if someone's watching this, looking at this, and they're like, damn, I know what that, you know, but you don't know what that means. So you decide long before you know what the impact of a decision is. You just decide. You're a kid. I just decided, and I barreled down the road when it was still just entertaining to me. When I was still purely doing it for myself. I think those are some of the best days when no one's watching you and you just want to entertain yourself. You're gassed. It's like the girl who takes a selfie, never posts it, but she likes how it looks.
Do you remember your first song? Like, what was that song about?
I don't remember my first song. No, I have no idea. I remember going to the studio with my brother in Flatbush, and he was rapping, and they were rapping on. I don't know, why did niggas have tape? They had tape like that. I remember recording on DAT, and this wasn't 400 years ago. So why did they have DAT? Somebody please make me understand why they had DAT. But I'd record on tape with him. Maybe I did a verse. I don't really remember it. It couldn't have been good. I'm sure it was terrible. I bet my money, actually. It was bad.
At one point in your career, you started writing for other people.
Yeah.
How did that play out?
I had the opportunity to. It fell in my lap because I suppose I presented myself ready for the opportunity. I wrote a song for a friend of mine. We put it out on the internet. Some important people found it really fast, rapidly. You need a little bit of luck. You're gonna need a lot of preparation and a little bit of luck. So I had a lot of preparation and a little bit of luck. And I was ready for the opportunity. I flew out to LA, which we're in LA now. There was an executive, Zach Katz. He was like, yo, I heard this song, it's great. I like this chorus. Why don't you write these songs for these people? All I heard was the names of the people. I didn't know the process of writing the songs I didn't know what that meant, right? It's the equivalent to someone saying, yo, fly to Portland. You want to work for Nike? All you heard was Nike. You missed the point where you heard, do you want to work for Nike? There's some steps beyond, do you want to work for Nike, getting the job, having the job being well paid, being a position. But all you hear is the brand. And all I heard was the brand. I heard the names they said. That was good enough for me. I was like, I'm in, I'm lit. Who you said, her? Yeah, I'm doing it. So in my mind, I was writing songs for these people, but I was just pitching them. That means you write them and then you present them and then you hope that they like them enough that they take the songs and then sing them, and then you hope that it gets to the next step where they no longer just sing them, they actually commit to putting them on the project, and hopefully you get paid. And so many different steps between write these songs for this person and you're a songwriter. But I took the first step.
Now, one of those people that I read was Rihanna.
Yeah.
You, for what I read, correct me if I'm wrong, you spent a few months working on tracks for her that didn't make the album.
Well, these are two separate stories,
Okay.
just for clarity.
Okay.
So when I first got into songwriting, the opportunity was yo, write these songs for Rihanna. The person wasn't necessarily directly connected to her, but the way the music industry works internally with songwriting, there are these people in place that call A&Rs, they get the songs. A&Rs, managers, producers, whoever's close enough to the artist might have the artist's ear and the opportunity to get a song to them. It was an executive who had a relationship with the A&R. They told me to write the song. I wrote the song, then it would get sent to the A&R, but it didn't make it, right? That didn't make it. Fast forward years later, they said, you know, write these songs for Rihanna. That didn't make it. Fast forward years later, I got the call. Yo, come work on some of these songs for the project. So I went to this, I was in LA again. Some of the good things in my life happened in LA. My favorite 3. Anyway, look, I came to LA, there was a $60 million mansion. This shit sounds ridiculous. A $60 million mansion in Malibu. There's dozens of people working on the property. The rooms are converted into studios. In the main house, Rihanna was there working. Omar was there, a couple other people from Rock Nation. I didn't know anyone. I just got the call. I was just ready for the opportunity again. I was just ready to work. I was ready to see if I can make my dreams come true. Rolling the dice. Not really, but close enough. I had a little bit more money then. So I showed up. I'm in LA. I'm there for a month. I'm staying at this hotel of, like, I don't know, an hour away. And I'm working there on a daily basis, 10, 12, 14 hours, because you're just trying to maximize the opportunity. Those songs ain't making either. And those were some of the best songs I'd written in my life at the time. I thought I was on the road. I was on a trajectory. It was going. It had to go. Just because it has to go doesn't mean it goes.
You're surrounded by mansion. You're surrounded by all these different stuff. You put your hard work in, you put all and then it doesn't make the album. On a personal level, how do you deal with that?
For me personally, I think most people take it as rejection. If I write something great, or if I create something that I know has incredible impact, if I think my taste is good enough, which I think is good enough, and I create something that people don't respond well to, I don't think it's my fault. If I believe with absolute sincerity, if I'm like, nigga, this shit is incredible, I believe that, I know, not just because I made it, I would have thought it was good if someone else presented it to me, and no one responds to it, I trust myself, my instincts, my ear, my intention well enough to be like, cool, I'll see you when you circle back, double the price. That's my mentality. So if you didn't take, if I writing these records and you don't take them, okay, cool. I'll see you when you circle back.
You've written from people from Rihanna to Usher to Jadena to Division, like a range of people. How do you go about from writing for yourself to then putting yourself in somebody else's shoes? Or do you put yourself in somebody else's shoes?
I can't. I'm not that talented. Dude, I don't know what you went through. I can't write that for you. Right? You can give me the information and I can craft it and be as creative as I want to, but that's not my style of creativity. I'm good at telling the truth with whatever my true story is. Right? What makes it magical is finding where my truth and your truth relate. It's the relationship. Mm-hmm. If you and I sit down and have a conversation and you go, I get, me too. It's the moments where we find like synchronicity, where we're the same, where we have one common interest, one common goal, one common past. That's where the great songs take us, because they feel like you know them. Mm-hmm. Like you hear Adele's Hello, Hello, It's Me, right? I don't even know that's how it completely goes. But the minute you hear it, you go, oh, come on, fam, this phone call lit, right? You know it, even if you don't know it. Or We Found Love in a Hopeless Place. I'm just quoting like pop records. So when you hear them, you go, we found love in a hopeless place. Even if you didn't feel that way, you wanted to feel that way, or you know that feeling being told to you through other visuals or other mediums, so that it connects. So I can't write for other people. I can only write my story, and if you identify with it, then I appreciate it and I value that. My skill set is finding where the marriage is.
When you first start conceptualizing a song, do you go lyrics first? Do you go melody first? Like, where does your creative process kind of take you?
It changes. It changes. I might walk in the studio and I might have a thought. It might start with a line. It might start with a word. It might start with a concept. It might just start with me mumbling melodies. It could start any possible way. The only thing I'm looking for is to get to the place where I'm excited and I think I've done something that I haven't done. And that's progressive, that's forward. If I love what I've done, then I'm comfortable enough with that, even if you never hear it, if the world never hears it. I got about 96 albums I listen to when I'm going to sleep, and they're all classic. And I made all of them. You get what I'm saying? Because it's not, at that point, it's not important what anyone else thinks. I'm just making because it pleases me.
We had Tory Lanez in here a little while ago, and he said that he thinks we're at a space in music where fans care more about the melodies and the actual lyrics. What do you think about a statement like that?
When have we not been there? Melody is universal. If I sing something right now and you don't speak English, you can focus and tune into it if the emotion resonates with you and if the melody catches your ear. That's universal across any language. Melody, even the way you talk has a melody, right? The way I talk has a certain staccato punctuated, like almost like I'm rapping. Some people talk in a sing-song nature. Everything's melody. I don't think that gives an excuse or that gives reasoning for lyrics to not be important. I think we've always been wherever we are. Wherever we are, we've been here before, and your lens is a little different this time, or it feels brand new this time. We've been there before. No? They got some really terrible songs in the past that were huge. Terrible, like atrocious. You go, oh, what was he saying? But you never knew that. You can't tell me there aren't songs that you've been singing your whole life, but you didn't notice the lyric not one time. And when somebody slowed you down and say, yo, do you know what you're saying? And you listen to it, you go, oh, that's brazy. I didn't know he said that, but you've been singing the words.
Yep.
Melody is always going to be more popular. Melody is always going to carry you further than, it's always going to be more everlasting because it doesn't require you to understand. It just requires you to observe.
To me, that's the gift and the curse. The melody and the beats draw us in to the point that sometimes we're not even paying attention to what the lyrics, but depending what the lyrics are, you're either ingesting positivity or negativity or other stuff, sometimes subconsciously without even processing it.
Yeah, but what's the curse when you could choose what you want to listen to? What's the curse in 2019 when you get to choose the dial on your radio station because it's streaming? How you complain about music? You're just lazy. Not you, whoever might have to take issue.
Yeah.
Now the encyclopedia is more visible. You can see it. Any artist that you want to find, you can find. You want to find neo soul, go look for it. You got it. You want to find super dance rap, you can find that. You want to find bad songs, you can find that. So we're right where we've always been with a lot more transparency, more opportunity. You can see more, you can hear more, you can watch more, you can go to sleep more. Everything you can do it in excess a little bit more.
I agree. I think for me, a lot of those options are more on the internet, where I look at more mainstream outlets that masses are consuming, and I think personally I would want a little bit more balance on there. But we have the option to always go search for it.
Right. Before it was imbalance and you didn't have the option.
Right.
Now it's imbalance and you have the option. I would say that that's balance. Imbalance with an option, that's balance to me. If I can opt out, then you don't have my back against the wall.
You talked about going back and forth through writing processes, writing for yourself, writing for other people.
Yeah.
What kept you going through all those ups and downs?
Hope, man. Hope. I knew what the bottom felt like. Everything else had to be forward, right? If I know what the base is, any step is a forward directive step. For me, as long as your mind is in the right place. Like if you in a corner selling drugs, you shoot niggas, you might be moving your feet, but that's probably not forward. That's a little bit back. Anyway, hope. I was hopeful. I figured in my mind if I could hold on to this picture of the future, and I watched it every day and I visited it every day and I treated everything like it either fit into the picture that I wanted to see or it didn't, and things were black and white like that, then I was in a progressive state and then I could do better. And if there's a possibility for me to do better, then what's stopping me from doing it? If I'm taking all the right steps, if my mentality is right, if my hustle is right, if my talent is strong enough, if my honesty is honest enough, then what's stopping me? If I get rid of all the factors for why it can't happen, then what's stopping it from happening? I shrink the why not list and increase the volume of the why list, and the odds are in my favor. And I've just been doing that my whole life. Just trying to switch the odds in my favor.
Speak a little bit on the power of positivity. We always talk about the power of manifesting things to happen, of visualizing things to happen.
Yeah.
And it sounds like some of what you're talking about that you were doing at that time was that. How has that kind of played a role in your life?
Tremendous. It's a huge part of everything that I do. How are you going to get there if you can't see it? And if you can't see it, how are you going to know you're there when you get there if you never saw it one time? Right? Somebody drops you off in Alaska and tells you that you're in the UK. You've never seen a picture, you believe it. So you got to hold the picture in your head. So it's a roadmap for you. I didn't know that I was practicing positive thinking. And be honest with you, these things, some of them were innate to me. Some of them were taught to me. I have a fantastic mother who gave me some gems. But it was second nature. My circumstances were so fucked up. I was going through enough that I couldn't look left or right. I had to look forward. There was no hope left. There's no hope right. Looking back is fruitless. All I could do is picture whatever was gonna happen. That's all I had. I was only working with the tools I had, trying to maximize them.
You spoke about your mom and some of the gems she gave you. Can you share some of those with us?
Yeah. She taught me about manifesting. She taught me about speaking. She taught me about speaking things into existence. My mom told me that a long time ago. She told me about the power of my words. Just gems. Poor people have such information, fam. Because they got to. You got to search for it. It's not handed to them. And it's the only way they get to write their ticket out. And my mom took a progressive step. She didn't make it out, but she gave me a tool that would allow me to allow us all to get out. And when I say out, I'm just talking about poverty. And it's a mindset and it's a physical place to be, not having money and thinking poor. So she taught me to speak what I wanted to into existence, rather. Say it.
What you just said is definitely a relatable. I'm a first generation immigrant myself, and I look at the journey my mom took just to come here so that I would have the opportunity to do what I love, to be able to sit here and talk to you, because she felt that in the country where I came from, those opportunities weren't there economically and just career-wise. So can you just speak a little bit more about just the role that your mom played?
I mean, my mother was a single parent. So my pops was in Guyana, my mom was in America. The reason why we kept going back and forth between America and Guyana is because she didn't have enough money to cover our living. She was a nurse's aide. There's 4 of us on my mom's side. So my mom had 4 kids and my pops had the other 6. And there's 10 kids in total. She couldn't afford it, raising these kids on her own. So she would send us back and we'd go live with my pops or we'd go live with a family friend. Most of the time it was someone else. I was raised by a village of people and she had to think different, right? Just being here was not step 1. I was 5 steps ahead. Just being here, planted on this soil. Birth certificate, American document. It takes a lot. Your family's from Argentina. My family's from Guyana. It's even a smaller country with even less resources. Probably in America, you think of the government system, what do we need Guyanese for? What do y'all do? What can y'all do for us? That's the mindset, right? With any government, anything having to do with economics, what can you do for us? You want to be here? Why? You just taking from our resources. So for her to be creative enough or clever enough or resourceful enough to figure out a way to get us here, damn, fam.
How does she feel about your success? She must be very proud that...
No, she's super happy. She's super thrilled. And I don't think, I use the word success extremely lightly. I'm super cautious when I say that. I know what you mean. But revisit in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing what you love. To me, that's success. I mean, there's other accolades and there's other stuff, but the ultimate success, whether the money or the recognition, I think in society we see that success. To me, is if you're able to make a living out of what you love, to me, that's success. So,
I agree. Touche.
How are you surviving, focusing on work, but you're writing all these songs, you're not getting placed? That means you're not getting a check, most likely, or not as big as a check as you should. How are you doing side jobs? Like, how are you staying?
I was hustling. I've always had. I work wherever, fam. I'm not afraid to go get my hands dirty. You can't. I worked at hotels. I worked in the Snuggie call center. I did all types of shit. Because you have to. Whenever the opportunity presents itself and you realize your back's against the wall, you make a good decision for yourself or not. I try to make good decisions for myself. So there's little to regret. People say they don't believe in regret. I believe in making good decisions.
It's crazy. I feel like people who've gone through that journey, it's like, I've telemarketed, like I've called people, I worked at factories, like I've done waited tables, babies, I did like all kinds of random shit.
Everything, finesse.
But I feel like in the end, that makes your story that much more rich.
Well, it makes you more rich as a human being. It gives you much more of a dynamic human experience. You relate. It's all part of the human experience. We're all here telling our story, we're starring in our own fucking biopic. You get to choose the characters, the textures, the wardrobe, the goddamn lighting. Goddamn, my shit's gonna be an incredible blockbuster.
I feel like oftentimes people don't realize that they are the directors to their own movie.
Of course.
It's like they give that power to other people or society or whatever, but it's like once we realize that we actually are the ones that control that, is a crazy feeling.
It takes a lot to realize you control your own life. You're put into these circumstances where you don't. Mostly, right? People go to work. They work to make a living, to fund their lives, to go back to work, to make the living, to fund their lives. It's this wheel. It's never ending race. You step out of the matrix for a second and say, yo, all I want to do is be happy. Or all I want to do are these 6 things. And then you set yourself up to go live these 6 things. All I want to do is wear silk and fur and leather and tell the truth about where I'm from and my story and live in my reality and give people hope. The people that look like me, who don't look like me, who think like me, don't think like me, who want more, who want at least this much, who just want to survive. Like, give them a bit more information, give them the tools.
You mentioned being happy. What makes you happy?
Being able to create. Because I created this. We're in this room. I didn't make this room. I didn't make these walls or this couch. But you don't even know. I had to create this opportunity. It took me my whole life. I did all the work I did was to be here, sitting on this couch. Not saying that that's the pinnacle of what it means for me, but I'm saying I had to create this. We all did. Every step, every decision you ever took, every choice you ever made brought you here so that we can create and have this conversation. And if I can create, then I can create my way out and I can create my way in. But if I can't create, then I'm stuck. I can create conversation, I can create thoughts, I can create moods, but I need to create it. That's my favorite part.